Hi all, week 32, week 31 update. I'm a week ahead of myself. We've had quite a bit going on over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and then some. So we've adjusted a lot in our business in the last wee while, probably more in the last 2 or 3 months than 5 or 6 years. And we probably had, a shift about, I was trying to work it out, and I haven't gone back in my figures yet, but it felt, we had a shift about the 25th of October 2022 or 23. I remember it only because of how it affects any changes in the market affect the auction market the most dramatically, and we feel it immediately, and which allows us to adjust quickly. The unfortunate part is it's the immediate pain, I suppose, of not only the dramatic shift, which essentially we can't react to. If it happens in 2 or 3 days, we just can't react to that because it's happening to us immediately. When a property's on the market for 18 months under a sole agency, it's less dramatic. It's not selling. There's no inquiry. It just meanders on without a rudder. We don't have that, and with an auction, it's immediate. The buyers tell you by their bidding what's happening. So, and we know fair market value at the auction, and whether that meets your expectation if you're the vendor. We can't tell. We can't tell. That's why agents do appraisals, valuers do valuations. We can only appraise the property at what we think it's worth. A lot of the times when we go in and list, if it's a hotel or motel opposed to a luxury home, we haven't even seen the figures. So we're looking at the bricks and mortar, going through call rooms and looking at the stock on hand and making an educated guess or assumption to value. And it's not until we get the business ledgers, see the brewery accounts, see all those things, and even then, until the buyers put the hand up, we won't know the market value. No different to a fruit and veggie market on a Tuesday morning, Monday, Tuesday morning, what potatoes and onions and carrots and all these things are going to do. We don't know until we start calling the auction and start selling stuff. So if you are a vendor and you've set your reserve to your expectation opposed to market feedback, essentially you're buying it back. You're saying, hey, I'm going to stay here unless I get X, and that's okay. That's part of the process. Most auctions are run at quite a significant loss, so the agent's invested in the marketing process as well. So there's not too much we can do about that. It's just part and parcel of auctioning property. The benefit is that, it's an age-old thing. When I started 39 years ago, your first offer is generally your best offer. You can't carry on doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's one of those things, stupidity or something like that is defined by doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's just not going to happen. And what happens is that you get that the initial buyers come in, Some have been sitting watching a property for 5 or 6 years. They come in, they bid or try and buy, they go away, and then suddenly you're left with whoever's left, and a lot of time there's nobody. So what we've had is a dramatic shift, and I'm going to talk about where the shift is. There's two parts. It's a geographical shift in lending, and I'm going to talk about where the buyers are coming from. So the buyers are coming from, in general, middle management, redundancies. So they've been on, let's say there's two of them, and I'm going to talk generally. They earn about $150,000 a year, 40 hours a week, so about 300, and they're looking for a lifestyle change. So they buy a pub or a motel. Now, if they buy your pub or motel, they're going to expect that income, and they're going to want to see that you're drawing that sort of income from the business. They're also want to, now that's their income taken care of. They're also going to want to see that the business is running at a profit. The unfortunate part, if you've got an accountant that minimises tax, it's not going to be showing a profit. So you're caught, and if you go back on my videos 2, 3, 4 years, I've been saying the same thing. Make sure you're banking all your cash. Make sure your accounts are ledger type. That you are, here's an example, some people are using, at the lower levels, Dan Murphy's as a supplier or first choice. Well, you just can't go in there and pay cashless stuff. You've got to, you've got to account for it, or else the buyer that's coming from the ACT, coming out of a government job or coming from Sydney, they're going to say, well, okay, you're saying your spirit sales are X, but you haven't bought any. So how can that be? So that's the part where if your business isn't showing a profit, you're not drawing an income on the books, the buyers are going to struggle to get finance. And that's the third part of the puzzle, that lending has tightened up, and it's not so much where you got your finance from, it's more where these new buyers are getting their finance from. And if they're going through brokers in Sydney or Melbourne, I imagine Canberra as well, I don't deal with many in Canberra, but I imagine Canberra, they have these guidelines, and I didn't realise how harsh it's got since the 1st of July. Geographically, there's about 20 towns. It's a geographic dash demographic. In the demographic, they are approving finance in towns with a population of 20 and above, and 20 and below, they're not approving finance. Now that's some. Some have actually pulled out of our industry completely, and these are ones that we've dealt with for the last 25 years. So one came back that was a reasonably solid lender, and this is bricks and mortar good businesses that have just come back and said no hotels, no motels, and no petrol stations. So, and that was a big player in our industry. That now means it's going to be a lot harder to sell, even if your business is profitable and you've got all the accounts in order and you're drawing $150,000 a year. The buyers aren't going to be able to get finance. So it's changed things dramatically, and we've changed our business model dramatically as well. So unfortunately, we'll no longer be offering affordable auction campaigns. they are working, but only just. They are bringing buyers into the first auction, but they are very on the money. They're hard, and I'd have to say the vendors sometimes aren't willing to listen to the truth of the buyer, the willing buyer, willing seller scenario. So that's where we've landed. That's the market. I can't change it. No other agent can change it. No vendor can change it. It's going to be harder to get finance. It's going to be harder to have multiple buyers on properties. Way back in 2 or 3 years ago, when it happened in October, we had 5, maybe 7 properties going up to auction. On the day, we had the Monday before the auction, we had a number of buyers on all the properties, up to 5 buyers on the properties, and come auction day we were down to 1 on each property. It happened dramatically. The buyers were embarrassed that their pre-approval had been taken away from them, so it happened that dramatically. Well, this is worse, I would say. This is, well, worse or harsher, that they're now demographically, the town's got to have a population of 20,000 people, and then geographically, some lenders aren't lending regionally anymore, so regardless of the figures. How long this lasts, I don't know. This is just the first part of it, and I can say that we've adjusted. We can now move forward. We've also looked at other sources of lending, so we're attacking that as well, so that perhaps in 3 or 4 months' time we'll have a different avenue of lenders for the good businesses outside of that 20,000 population cap. So moving right along, we're changing out our position a little bit, and you'll see that in our new website that's up and running today. Taken a long time to get it there, and we'll keep on critiquing and improving it as we move forward. You can now see all of the scheduled auctions. If we get properties, we'll schedule them in. Ideally, we'd like to have 4 or 5 at a time. That just makes it economic. Generally, they cost us about $5,000 to $10,000 to run. So running it for one property is uneconomic, especially if they don't sell. So you will see we'll combine them most of the time. So we'll have, I think we've got about 4 or 5 categories on the front of our website. So we'll be bringing them all in basically the last Friday of every month, and going from there. So give us a call, Brian, 040 297 0217, Brian at brianmcmanusrealestate.com, and we can get an appraisal done, and it will be as we see the market today, and looking at you selling in 30 days time. So some of them won't be pretty, but they'll be honest, and that's all we can do. There's no use telling you it's up higher. We're not going to give you the verbal appraisals we once did on site. We won't give you an appraisal until we've seen the profit and loss and we've seen your ledgers. We won't be giving the appraisal until we've seen the contract. So it may take 2-3 weeks before we give you your appraisal. We've done it the other way around and come back with the books weren't in order, There's no drawings, there's no management drawings, there's no profitability. So, you know, what are we selling? So we're going to slow that process down a wee bit. So if you're thinking about selling, it may take a month to get you to the market and then get you into the market and sold. That's the part. If we've got all our ducks in a row, we've got the books, you know, I've been saying this for probably 36 months on these videos, we've got the books and we're ready to go, well, that's when we can sell. That's when these guys can go to their financial brokers with all the information and sell your property, or we can help these new buyers buy. Have a wonderful week 31, everyone, and we'll be on the road, so give us a bell if you want an appraisal done. We'll let you know if we can help you or not. Our guidelines are quite a bit narrower than what we've done in the past 2 or 3, 4 years, so we'll be able to say yes or no, we can help you out or not, and go on from there. Love to hear from you. Give us a just remember, we are in and out of coverage, so it may take a little bit of time to get back to you if we are in one of those zones where we can be up to 8 hours out of range. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully this stuff stays around the sunshine, because it makes a big difference. Thanks very much.